Okay, hello, Steve Foster. Um, just sitting up in my office, holding a mailer that we're going out for this campaign. A lot of folks think that we get $201 a month take-home pay, and it's got a nice extra. It doesn't even pay for the gas when it's $4 a gallon, running back and forth to all the meetings we have to attend. But I will say this: it's not free to run. I estimate this is my sixth campaign, and I estimate that we have probably put out between $3,000 and $4,000 out of pocket, and not counting the fact that I got some donations from people on occasion. I haven't solicited any this year and doing it on my own. But with the postage, I figure that a letter costs about 70 cents by the time you pay for the paper, the envelope, the ink, the return stickers, and the stickers to go out. So you really have to be very selective of who you mail them to. It can get very expensive, even this year. So that's what I'm busy doing right now. I just wanted to give you guys an idea, a little bit of what it takes and what it costs to run. So certainly I've had probably close to a couple of years of what the city paid me. I've given back just in the cost of the campaign alone. But that's another issue. But I thought you might be interested. Let me come up here a little bit closer to my video screen. And this is a letter I'm sending out. And on the back of it is a very nice mail that was a letter to the editor from Steve Nichols. Let me read an excerpt. The second paragraph toward the end, he says, with the ongoing retail expansion, the future looks good. And then he gives me an endorsement. He says, Ward 7 Alderman Steve Foster has had a large role in the city's financial success. Steve has been a leader in holding down property taxes and is opposed to increases in taxes. He asks tough questions of the administration and demands all city departments do everything possible to hold down the cost. While Steve has been an opponent of tax increases, he has supported a progressive approach to attracting new businesses. Steve understands the best way to balance the budget is to expand the economic base, not raise taxes. Steve has been responsive to his constituents and has been vocal in presenting the Ward 7 perspective to the City Council. And Steve also considers the needs of the city as a whole when voting. I have never publicly endorsed a candidate, Steve goes on to say, for alderman, but in this case, I know Steve Foster is the right person to continue to serve not only the citizens of Ward 7, but all the citizens of Danville. I enthusiastically endorse him for re-election and urge the voters of Ward 7 to return Steve to the City Council and sign Steve Nichols, Alderman, Ward 6. And I will say that Steve, I usually pick him up because I go right by his house. So he's ridden back and forth to the council many times. And we don't always agree on some issues. We don't always vote the same, but we are friends and we do get along and we give each other some ribbon now and then. But it's a pleasure and an honor that Steve would endorse me because he never has endorsed another candidate. And so I do appreciate that. But I thought maybe I'd take a couple excerpts from the letter because I cannot possibly send them all out to everybody. And there's over 4,000 registered voters, so that would be $3,500 just for the letters alone and the postage and everything. But I write on this letter here. Let me read from a little bit. I'll move up here. Okay, dear residents, on next Tuesday, April 9th, we'll be voting for Alderman for Ward 7. I'm asking for his continued support for my re-election to our City Council. In March, before replying to local newspapers and the traditional questionnaires, I reviewed my website, which I built in 2001. That's sfoster.info. Of course, you're probably there and watching this video, so you know where that is. I read all my comments and positions taken over the past years and conclude that my views and voting positions have remained consistent and has resulted in perceptible improvements to our city. Now, not all may agree on all these positions or votes, but I believe the majority did. Printed on the back is a candid copy of the letter I go on and ask people that maybe they can flip over and read it, But now, following our says, it says in the letter, following are some of my views and voting records. First, on property taxes. Since 2006, I voted no on tax levy rate increases. I have pushed for abatements from the general fund and other cost reductions to meet rising expenses rather than property tax increases, keeping the rate under $2 for many years. And what I mean by abatements is the city actually takes funds out of the general fund, like which is generated by, say, sales tax, and we actually abate or cover some of the cost out of that so we can keep that rate below $2. And I pushed for that now since for years. On the sales tax, I voted no on the 2010 sales tax increase of 1%. I believe it could hurt our retailers and local sales. And if any economic boons come, likely a casino in 2013 or 14, I will push to rescind this sales tax and also lower property taxes. Put the money back to the community. On salary increases, I was among the first to vote no in executive sessions and in full council on some union benefits and rate increases. Since 2004, I have supported 3 plans to reorganize and streamline our government structure by consolidating employee duties. As a result of the consolidation, 4 employees were promoted and took on considerably more responsibilities. This understandably requires reorganizational increases for their salaries in order to implement these changes. I have voted no on other non-reorganizational increases over the past 6 years. This year I supported a small 2%, which is less than the cost of living, increase for non-union employees who took salary freezes in some of the past years. Now, retail and manufacturing is the last point I make on business attraction. The best way, I say here, to keep all categories of taxes and fees down is to attract retail businesses that can increase our sales tax revenues, our primary source of income to the city. Now, likewise, new manufacturing and service industries increase our property tax revenues without rate increases. However, the past 5 years, world economic trends and high employee costs in Illinois have produced challenging times for attracting manufacturing jobs, even with the necessary incentives that we've been offering. In 2012, I worked for attracting service providers rather than manufacturers because I felt like this is where we could probably do some good here in Danville. So I directly assisted 4 new service companies to locate here in Danville last year. Now, these are my principal positions and regard the primary areas of public concern, and I do welcome your input, I go on to say. And you can call me here at 442-0823 or visit my office. I'm at 2716 North Vermillion, right up here by Barry's Garden Center. So anyway, that's what I said, and I just thought you'd like to get a little insight into what we have to do to get reelected and the type of material that I myself am sending out.